The Canyon Cougars are back at the Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex, the site where the Joe Muchagimba era started 3 seasons ago. Headed into his 4th year, Coach Muchagimba and the Cougars hope to navigate a competitive non-district slate, leading into the brutal 27 6A district schedule. Tonight's opponent, the Cedar Ridge Raiders, who are coming off an early second-round playoff exit after an undefeated regular season a year ago. A team that many in the Austin area think has a shot to make a run at the state championship. It's the Canyon Cougars and the Cedar Ridge Raiders coming up next, exclusively on the Cougars Network.
MLB Tonight brings you closer to the pennant chase.
Devastating slider. Leaping grab, and that's number 3.
Closer to the epic moments.
That ball is cashed out to center. And a dive and a catch.
Closer to the critical plays.
Now you use your hands more.
Now I go into a fine focus. Boom.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, bringing you closer to the pennant chase.
This is it.
On MLB Network, home of 2 American League Division Series games.
Welcome back to the Cougars Network. Kickoff moments away. It is artificial real grass matrix turf here at Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex. There's no midfield logo. There is no paintings in the end zone. It's just a nice playing surface here up in Round Rock. The Cougars are in their road jerseys tonight. It's red pants, white jerseys with red numbers, and white helmets. No decals on the Cougars helmet tonight. Cedar Ridge in their home jerseys, white pants, purple tops, white numbers, white helmets with the purple bar down the middle, and the purple CR logo on both sides. Roland, good to be with you here on the opening season of high school football.
It's great to be here with you, Ben. Thank you for having me in the booth. And as the old song says around Christmas time, and I think we high school football fans can apply it to right now, it is the most wonderful time of the year.
Jose Berlanga to kick off for Cedar Ridge, and deep receiving for Canyon. They need to turn for me in order to give me a good look, but we'll see. It's a high spinning kick. Canyon will settle under it at the 12-yard line. Here coming to the near side is the return man. He's got some running room across the 30. I believe that is Dallin Watanabe, number 32 for Canyon. Gets a good return out to the 26-yard line. That's where Canyon will set up 1st and 10. Roland, our first look at Xavier Perez tonight, the quarterback, 5'11", 185-pound junior, got some playing time last year, 51% completion rate for 1 touchdown, and Roland 7 interceptions. Looks to improve on that.
Well, absolutely, and we'll see what the new offensive scheme now under Coach Kirkland is going to do for Xavier.
Xavier starts out in the gun, 2 receivers either way. Fake slap of the hands to get a new play from the from the far sideline. Marking out orders back to his offensive line. Retreats back into the gun. Slap of the hands, gets it. It's going to be a zone read to Seth Haney, on the draw play. Haney trying the left side of the Cougar offensive line, maybe a yard. Gain out down to the 27.
You were mentioning that name, Taj Williams. I think we're going to be talking about him quite a bit this evening. He made the stop on that play for the Raiders.
Cougars back to the line out of the no huddle. They call it the no huddle, but they're still getting the play call here from the far sideline, so not really that much up tempo, though trips receivers to the far side, the left side. Cougars going left to right here, opening drive. Perez bat to pass, looks to the left, has a little slant route, ball caught by Callan Farr, the wide receiver on the far sideline. Good pickup up to the 39 and a Cougar first down. Cougars now getting momentum back up to the Cougar offensive line. 3 receivers for the zone read. Keeper, Perez, coming to the near sideline, trying to get a block, and does, but late. Perez keeps his legs going forward to the 45. They'll give him forward progress to the Cougar 46. It's a good pickup of about 7 on first down.
Victor Winston in on the stop that time for Cedar Ridge, but not before. Nice run that time by Perez.
10:48 left to go here in the first period. Opening drive for Canyon of the game and 2017. Now 4 wide receivers showing for Canyon to the far sideline. Ball resting here on the near hash. Perez looking to the visitors' sideline for a new play. Claps his hands, gets the ball. Quick release to the far sideline is caught. That's Farr again. Farr trying to get to the outside. Does, but I think he's going to be shy of the first down by about a yard out to the Cougar 43-yard line.
Just shy, but that Cougar offense is moving quickly. They're getting back into formation quickly and moving that football.
You can sense there is a rhythm here from Coach Trenton Kirkland's offense. 2 receivers either way to the far hash. Perez out of the gun. Seth Haney, the back to his right. Back to the line of scrimmage to give orders. And now back in the gun. Gets it to the near sideline. Curl route again. That's far. Pass complete into Raider territory. This drive continues to go for Canyon. Now at the Raider 40-yard line. Another Cougar first down.
Nathan Hamilton from his middle linebacker position making the stop.
Back to the line, the Cougars. They've got some pace here. Perez has the ball. Hand off to Haney, and that is clogged up. Nothing doing. Cedar Ridge finally able to get some penetration. Taj Williams making initial contact for the Raiders.
And before the game, you were mentioning that's what he does so well, and we just saw an example of it right there.
Second team all-district selection at that defensive tackle position a year ago. 3 receivers here to the near side. That is Far, Gonzalez, and Lane Young, the far outside receiver. The lone receiver out to the left is Isaiah Scott for Xavier Perez, who's in the gun with Haney out to his left. Gives a message to Haney. Haney switches it now over to Perez's right. Ball resting at the 40-yard line. Back to pass with a pump fake as Perez. Pocket collapses. He lets it go to the far sideline. The ball is up, almost intercepted, but knocked away at the last second by Lane Young, the wide receiver. In coverage there was Devin Dillard Williams, the young sophomore, and disaster avoided there for the Cougars.
That was intended for Isaiah Scott, and hats off to him for making the stop that time, or that would have been a pick.
Oh, was that Scott? I said Lane Young, but you're right, that was Isaiah Scott. Here now 3rd and 10 for the Cougars. Pump fake to the left. They got a little screen set up, and that's Far. He has a tunnel. Can he get in towards the first down marker? He's going to be short. They're going to spot the ball at the 33. Needs to get to the 30. Check that, the 32-yard line. And now decision time for Coach Muchagimba. 4th and 2. The offense will stay out there for Canyon. This is a frenetic pace here, Roland.
Well,
I need to catch my breath.
And I tell you what, they've moved the ball from their own 26, so they've certainly been able to move it offensively. Let's see if they can get those 2.
4th and 2 for Canyon on their opening drive. They fake the handoff. Down to Perez, back to pass. Pocket collapses. He'll tuck it and run. He has a lot of room. Gets to the 30-yard line before he is tripped up. He'll fall forward to the 28. It's a Cougar first down to keep the drive going.
And why not? You have the momentum. You're moving the football. Risk that 4th down, and we come away with a new set of downs.
Remember, no Reeves Munchow for the Canyon Cougars. That would have been an automatic 3. Reeves taking his kicking talents to the University of Oklahoma. Now fresh out of downs for Canyon at the Raider 28 on a very impressive opening drive for the year. Perez out of the gun again. He looks towards the left side as he's back to pass. He'll throw it down that left sideline. Overthrows everybody. Perhaps a good miss there by Xavier as his receiver was not open. Incomplete second down.
Looked like, was that Facundo in on that particular play, playing receiver?
He's going to play both sides, very much so.
Versatility, it's a beautiful thing.
2 receivers to the left side. That's 16, Jacob Garcia, and 18, Colin Farr. Near side official here coming in to stop play. And we'll see what all the fuss is about. The ball is not properly marked. It was marked at the 34, needs to be moved, the 29, then it needs to be moved to the 28, and that's where it rests now. Near side receiver is Lane Young. Number 31 for Canyon checks in as kind of a little fullback look. That's Anthony Savoda. Interesting look here offensively for Canyon. We've not seen this kind of a wing look out of the shotgun. Lone back is Owen Worley. 17 left on the play clock for Perez. He'll take it, fakes the pass to Worley, the handoff. He'll go up the middle on a quarterback keeper, dives forward to the 25. It's going to be a gain of 3, now setting up a 3rd and about 7.
Here again, the offense has the momentum. See if they can keep it moving, get another first down, and keep this drive alive.
Well, Roland, the big question here, is this 4-down territory? That will change the play calling a little bit. Do you try to get the 6 yards needed for the first down, or do you try to get 4 or 5 and then punch it in on the 4th down? We'll see what happens here. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the near side. Near side receiver is Lane Young. Worley again the back, sends a man in motion. That's Facundo. They'll give it to Facundo on a little sweep. Trips up before he's able to turn up field. Oh, that could have been promising, Roland, but Facundo trips up at the 25, dives forward to salvage something down to the 23. It's going to be 4th down and about 5.
And decision time again. Let's see what Coach Mooch and the sidelines have to say this time. What decision they're going to make. Looks like, by all appearances, they're going to go for this.
Offense stays on the field. Ball here on the near hash at the 23-yard line. Receiver here to the near side is Young. 2 receivers out to the left. The back is Haney. They'll fake the handoff to Haney, and they'll go to the tight end on a little play action. There is much contact there, but it is not called. Incomplete pass as he's looking to hit the tight end there, Anthony Savoboda. And Roland, how did that not get called? Plenty of contact.
I guess the referees are a lot closer angle, but I thought I saw the same thing as well. I thought there was just a little hesitation that time on the back coming out of the tight end. And, oh well. I guess it's opening game for the Zebras as well.
A promising start to the offensive look for Canyon, but the drive stalls and Cedar Ridge takes over at their own 23-yard line. Here's Ezekiel Koss, the 5'10", 180-pound senior quarterback. Bat to pass, he's going to actually hand the ball off to Simi Bakari, the highlighted running back for this Cedar Ridge offense. Bakari comes to the near sideline, is met initially at the line of scrimmage, but will fall forward for 1.
That's right. Not much there for the big running back that we were talking about pregame. We'll mention a few things about Bakari here just a bit.
2 receivers to the far side. Now Cedar Ridge going right to left. Little curl pattern here in the near sideline. Cash Rugley making the catch, but initial contact made for Canyon is by Cooper Holm. It's going to be a pickup of about 5 and 3rd down upcoming. 4:56 left to go here in the opening period. No score. Cedar Ridge on their opening possession.
And that Cougar defense is looking good, holding them to a 3rd and 5. Let's see what happens now.
2 receivers either way for Koss. Back to pass. He'll look to the near side on a little tunnel screen, and that's Rugley again, and Rugley's got some room. Ball came out, and Rugley is able to get on top of it. He gets across the 35 before fumbling the football. Raiders will retain possession. Ball now marked at the 38 and a 1st down for Cedar Ridge.
Now just a good heads-up play right in the middle of the field. They had the real estate, were able to pick up the 1st down.
2 receivers here to the near side. 1 to the far, Bakari to the left of Koss. They fake it to Bakari, come to the near side on to Trey Williams, the H-back, and Williams is going to go. He is across midfield into Cougar territory, making guys miss. He's going to outrun the rest of the secondary, and Trey Williams has scored. Touchdown, Cedar Ridge, a 61-yard touchdown pass.
Right away, it looked like a slant right to him, fake to Bakari, and there's a penalty marker on the field. We'll see what that's all about.
The penalty marker is resting at the Cougar 7-yard line, and I think they're going to flag the Cedar Ridge bench for interference. We'll see what the call is from the head referee. Sideline warning is given to Cedar Ridge here. You know, Roland, it goes down in the book as a 61-yard touchdown pass, but that ball through the air probably only traveled about 8 yards, and the rest was Trey Williams.
Right, that was all his doing to juke and jive his way out of some interference there. And he puts the first points on the board in this contest for the 2017 season for both teams.
4:05 in the first quarter, and Cedar Ridge has struck first. All that excitement, and Cash Rugley, the holder, wasn't out there to take the hold on the extra point. Extra point will be attempted by 44 Victor Winston, the defensive lineman. Out of the hold of Rugley. Good snap. Bad hold. The kick is up, and I don't know how that got down and up, but it did. And it is good. 4:05 left to go here in the first quarter. We'll take our first break on the Cougars Network. Our score, Cedar Ridge 7, Canyon 0.
Whether you're out at the beach or chilling poolside, the summer heat is here and Music Choice is turning it up. Chill out with the latest music from your favorite kids artists and more. Your music lives here on Music Choice.
Hey guys, it's Sophia Carson here. Check out all of my music videos available on Music Choice On Demand. Available on GVTC. Just go to Free On Demand and select Music Choice.
Back at Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex in Austin, Texas, Cedar Ridge has jumped out to a 7-0 lead after Canyon's offense stalled on their opening possession. Berlangua here to kick off for Cedar Ridge, and Vance's McKay will take the ball on the far sideline at the 7. A lot of running room there on the far sideline, and he made a man miss at the 28. Down the sideline he goes, almost to midfield. A great return for Canyon in the kicking game. Roland, that's how you respond after a touchdown.
Absolutely. Show some line. That was a great kickoff return that time by the Cougars. Once again, they're going to have better field position, getting a little bit further down in their own territory, nearer to the Cedar Ridge end of the field.
That Cedar Ridge scoring drive, 5 plays, 77 yards, took 1:29 off the clock. A 62-yard touchdown pass from Ezekiel Cost to Trey Williams. Now 3:56 left to go here in the first quarter. Cedar Ridge with a 7-0 lead. But, Roland, as we mentioned, promising start offensively for Canyon, able to move the ball, just stopped on a 4th and 2.
Absolutely. This would be an interesting drive for that Cougar offense.
2 receivers here to the near side on 1st and 10. They give the ball to Haney, who tries up the middle, and nothing is doing. Met by Victor Winson, the defensive end. Able to fall forward with his momentum to the 49, gain of 3.
Little help from Colby Berkeley, I think, who came over to help him on that stop. But as you were mentioning, nice gain of 3.
Isaiah Scott, the far wide receiver. Lane Young, the near wide receiver, with Haney to the left of Perez. They'll fake the ball to Haney, and Perez will keep it on the zone read keeper up the middle, across midfield into Raider territory. Ball will be spotted at the 47 as Perez, Roland, has lost his helmet. He's going to have to sit out a play here. So Xavier Perez loses his helmet. He is going to have to sit out. Fabian Bakunda will come in as his backup for at least a play. Lane Young here on the near side. Colin Fair, the slot receiver, on the near side as well. Ball resting on the far hash. Lane Young over on the left side as well. There's an official timeout to reset the clock. I don't know if it's the game clock or the play clock. Game clock is at 3:03 here in the first quarter. Canyon moving left to right. The play clock was reset to 25. So Fabian Bakunda will take this one out of the gun. Haney to his left. Slap of the hands for Facundo. They fake the handoff to Haney, and Facundo will go up the middle, dive forward across the 45 to the 44. I think that's going to be enough for a Cougar first down, and it is.
Some tough yardage that time. Facundo picked it up from the quarterback keeper. And once again, another nice offensive drive for the Cougars.
Perez will check back in. Now they have 3 wide receivers to the far sideline, which is the short side. Isaiah Scott and Colin Farr, and the slot receiver is 6, David Gonzalez. Here on the near side is Lane Young. Perez up to the line to shout instructions. Haney will settle into the left. Clap hands. The direct snap will go to Haney, who bobbles the snap, and he is in trouble. Wrapped up and dropped. Taj Williams there amongst others. Jimmy Esparza as well, making the tackle for Cedar Ridge on the botched snap.
Absolutely. That time, good defensive penetration by Cedar Ridge, getting through the offensive line back to the quarterback.
2nd and 12 now spotted for the Cougars. Ball at the Raider 46. Now Owen Worley checks in at running back for Canyon. Perez settles in out of the gun. They fake the pass to Worley. They'll come on a little wide receiver screen to the near side. That's David Gonzalez, who's caught and hit immediately. Making the tackle is 5, Colby Berkeley, the outside linebacker. They tried the little tunnel screen on the inside, and Cedar Ridge smelled it.
But good heads-up defensive work, as you were mentioning that time, by the secondary man for the Raiders. Sticking with the wide receiver, stopping it for no gain.
Canyon moving backwards on this drive, now 3rd and 17 back into Cougar territory at the 48. Bunch receiver set of trips to the left side of the line of scrimmage. That's where Perez is looking. Pocket collapses, flag down, he'll tuck it and roll to his to his right, fires, the ball is incomplete. We'll see what the flag is. Flag's resting at the 44, and Roland, the way that was thrown and the way things were looking, it might be a holding penalty.
Yeah, that usually is, and you're correct. That's usually what it is when you see it in that area of the field. It's been declined. So that should bring up a 4th down situation here for Canyon.
58 seconds left to go in the opening period. Cougars have had it 2 possessions now offensively. turned the ball over on downs deep in Raider territory the first go-around, and this will be our first look at Jacob Martinez, the deep punter for Canyon. Cedar Ridge has 2 return men at the 15, 13-yard line. Snap back to Martinez as he puts the right foot into it. It's a spiraling punt that does not turn over. It'll bounce at the 18. Take a Cougar bounce inside the 15 before it is downed by number 56 for Canyon, Aaron Rodriguez. A good punt there for Canyon to pin Cedar Ridge back.
And right now we're going to have to depend on the Cougar defense. See if they can see if they've got a stop in them. I mean, it's goal to keep them out of the end zone and not let this lead get too big.
37-yard punt there by Martinez. Ball back at the Raider 13, 40 seconds left to go in the first period. Koss, the quarterback for Cedar Ridge. They'll hand off to Bakari. Bakari tries the left side of that Raider offensive line, and he is hit hard, falls forward to the 16. Great gang tackling there by the Cougars. I think they'll give him 3.
You know, we were talking about Bakari before the game. You were mentioning that he was like the second option in the offense for Cedar Ridge last year, picking up about 700 yards on the ground. So they're looking to him to kind of be the bell cow this year for the Raiders.
2nd and 8 for Cedar Ridge. Out of the gun, they fake it to Bakari, and Koss is back to pass out of a clean pocket. He'll roll to the right, heaves it towards the far sideline over his receiver and everybody else. The ball will be incomplete and set up a 3rd and 8.
That's right. Intended on the far side of the field for Jalen Ellis. Good defensive coverage that time by the Cougars secondary.
Bear with us here with the notifications on players here. We are high atop Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex, the Palace on Palmer, as it is called. And you know, the kids like to wear those bunched up jerseys from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
The 8s look like 9s and so forth, so bear with us. 3rd and 8, Koss back to pass. They have a screen set up, and Canyon has sniffed it out. Now under pressure, Koss coming to the near side. He is flushed out of bounds, and our cameraman, I think, has taken a spill also. I hope he's okay. He comes out at the 17-yard line, and it'll set up a 4th down, but we have run out of time here in the first quarter. We played 1 in our season opener. Our score, Cedar Ridge 7, Canyon 0. We'll step aside here on the Cougars Network.
Did you ever play Tetris as a kid?
Yes, I did. Watch out.
I couldn't find a chain for you guys, but I got my necklace from the car.
It's starting to feel like a home.
Welcome to your new house.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot believe they turned that into a house.
Watch FYI, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 132.
We're glad to have you with us here on the Cougars Network. Good following, everything considered on the far sideline with the availability of gasoline and the prices and all that stuff, plus the trip to get through Austin. Pretty good showing there on the far sideline.
I was going there. I was going to say there's not a whole lot more gas available here in Austin than there are back home in New Braunfels.
Rugley's the punter for Cedar Ridge. He takes it almost blocked. It's an end-over-end kick that will bounce at the 48, roll into Cougar territory. Takes a last-second Cougar bounce and will be downed. They'll spot it at the 44-yard line. It's a punt of 39. And Canyon will take over 1st and 10. So Roland, we've seen good things from this Cougar offense, and now the defense is stiffened up a little bit, learned from their lessons, and forced a 3 and out there.
That's right. And what it is, it's building confidence. And hopefully that's going to rub off on the offensive side of the football right now as the Cougars take over possession.
1st and 10 for the Cougars, now moving right to left. Across, well, we used to say across your radio dial, but I guess across your smartphone screen, your computer, your smart TV, however you're with us here on the Cougars Network. And we do thank you for being with us here on a Friday night. We've just started the second quarter. The officials having some troubles here with which ball they should use. And they finally get one placed here at the 44-yard line of Canyon. Fresh set of downs and a new possession. Last possession out, Canyon stalled a little bit, moved backwards, ended up in a Jacob Martinez punt.
But once again, good field position for the Cougars. See if they can move the football this drive.
2 receivers to the far sideline, one to the near. That's Lane Young. They give the handoff to Haney. Some running room up the middle, but not much. His forward progress falls him forward, or gets him to fall forward to the 47. It's a good pickup of, let's call it 4 on first down. Officially gave him 3 there, so 2nd and 7 here for Canyon. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Out of the gun is Perez. Looking to the right, the far sideline with the pump fake. He'll tuck it and run. Coming here to the near side, trying to get a block. He ends up throwing it at the last second to Young, avoiding the sack. That's a heads-up play there by Xavier. No late hit called. Pressure being given there by Victor Winston, but Perez able to just throw the ball away.
Yeah, just had to get rid of it to avoid the loss, but for the most part, that offensive line is holding up and giving him some time to look down. It's the defensive secondary that's tying up the receivers right now, so he's not finding an open man.
It's a secondary for Cedar Ridge that does not return a single starter from last year. Oddly enough, the defensive line unit is their strongest unit on the defense. Now out of the pistol, Perez takes the snap and fires it to the far sideline on a little slant route. Facundo makes the catch, but is tackled immediately. I don't think Facundo got back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him a no gain.
Jalen Washington that time on the stop for Cedar Ridge. And, yeah, that secondary's kind of risen to the occasion right now for the Raiders.
Well, the bad thing about going up-tempo, Roland, now is it's a very quick 3-and-out when you do go 3-and-out.
Right.
Only to get three yards there on 3 plays. And we see Jacob Martinez back in deep punt at his 33-yard line. Rugley is standing at the 14 alongside Devon Jones for Cedar Ridge. Martinez will take the snap, put his right foot down, takes a Cougar bounce at the 20-yard line, keeps rolling to the 15 before being downed by Cole Seeley. So a good punt there by Jacob Martinez in his first times out there for Canyon in replace of Reeves Munchow, has sent 2 punts inside the 20.
Absolutely. Keeping the Raiders back in their own territory. Once again, it's up to the defense to hold that Raider offense and see if they can get the ball back here. Still plenty of time left to go before halftime. So we got just under 10.5 minutes left.
38-yard punt there for Martinez as Koss brings the Raider offense back out to the field, going left to right. Roland, as you mentioned, 10:26 left to go here in the second quarter. Cedar Ridge up 7-0 as play has been halted by the referees once again. We get the play whistle to go here. Cedar Ridge comes out with 2 receivers to the left, 1 here to the near side. That is Trey Williams, who had that 61-yard touchdown reception 2 possessions ago. They give it to Bakari here on a sweep. Cougars have strung it out and made sure he did not turn the corner. He'll fall forward to the 19. It's a pickup of about 2 on first down.
And hats off to that Cougar defense because, as we were talking about pregame, they're going to go with Bakari, try and pound it out, and the Cougars have done a good job in containing him thus far.
Bakari added 15 pounds of muscle in the offseason to bulk up for the heavier load that he's going to get this year. Trips receivers here to the near side. They try a little wide receiver screen. Pass is caught by 22, Deuce Vaughn. Vaughn able to fight forward. There are flags down. Gets to the 22. We'll check out what the penalties are.
And as we were mentioning, if it's usually on that side, it's holding, and that be the case. Holding this time against the Raiders gonna back it up just a bit.
Even despite the penalty there, Roland, the Cougar defense on the spot there was not fooled by that little wide receiver screen they had set up.
Absolutely. Both sides of the football have looked good for Canyon this evening. It's just a question of working out the jitters for the offense, but the defense has really risen up to the occasion as well.
I talked to Coach Muchagimba earlier this week and tried to get his thoughts on what to expect. And really, he told me, he said, not really expecting much outside of execution. We're going to have the play calls. We need them to execute it, and that's how we will judge them on film. And Roland, I got to say, save for one play, Canyon offensively, defensively, and special teams have executed fairly well. Second down and 18 for Cedar Ridge. Out of the gun is Koss. He'll look to the left side of the field, throws the ball deep, and that ball is nowhere near his intended receiver, Cash Rugley, incomplete, 3rd and long.
And that Raider line that time was holding up, giving the quarterback Koss plenty of time to set up, plenty of time to look for his receivers, and that time just overthrew his target.
3rd and 18 for Cedar Ridge. 9:22 left to go here in the second quarter. They have a 7-0 lead, but Canyon showing the ability to stop the big play. Of course, when you go back to that 61-yard touchdown pass, it was just a pass into the slot and a couple of missed tackles, and Trey Williams able to break free. So in terms of trying to go over the top, Canyon's done a good job of keeping things in check. Three receivers now to the left. Ball on the near hash for Cos. Bakari to his right, out of the gun. Cos fakes the handoff to Bakari. No, they gave it to him, and Bakari is stuffed. Nothing doing. Eric Taylor, the 6'1", 175-pound defensive end, makes a sure tackle and drops Bakari back inside the 5.
Eric Taylor saw that coming, said nothing doing, just clogged up that hole and said, Bakari, you're not going anywhere. That is the case. As a matter of fact, with the penalty, still looking at 18, more than 18 probably, to go to get that first down.
Yeah, I don't trust that 18. It's
22. He did lose 4.
4th and 22 as Cash Rugley has gone into deep punt, almost literally, Roland, in the shadow of his goalposts. And, one thing to keep in mind here is his back heels, as Cedar Ridge is going to take a timeout. And Roland, I am a special teams guy. I could guarantee you Sam Robinson, the head coach here, is going to have a conversation with Rugley. You are going to be dangerously close to that back sideline of your end zone.
Right, knowing where you are when you punt that football or when you grab it. And of course, you got to hold your breath and hope for a good snap as well.
We thank you for being with us on the Cougars Network. If you are live streaming us on YouTube, go ahead and click that red button that says subscribe. You're going to be able to be kept updated with a lot of things that are going on with the Cougars Network. We played you the piece of Tanner Steele and Jacob Betchka. A lot of productions like that coming your way as we get through this season. And then we'll also stick around for volleyball. We'll stick around for the basketball season, soccer, and baseball, softball as well. A lot of things going on in Comal ISD at Canyon High School specifically, and we're going to bring them all to you here across the Cougars Network.
Go Cougars.
8:36 left to go in the second quarter. Canyon set to get the ball back in prime field position. Rugley 1 yard from the baseline of his end zone, accepting the punt. Takes the snap, 2 steps, gets it off. It's a low end-over-end punt, and the Canyon return man is going to let that bounce. That's Isaiah Rivera, and that ball is going to take a Raider bounce into Cougar territory at the 41-yard line. And Roland, not pretty, but 51 yards on that punt.
Yeah, he got out of the shadow of his own end zone, and as a matter of fact, got it back into Cougar territory, which is where they'll take over. Not a bad job punting the football.
Rivera's going to get a talking to over there on the sideline. I just the number one thing to do is you got to catch the football, and you saw there a difference in about 15 yards of field position. That's the difference between letting it bounce and catching the football. Nonetheless, all things considered, Roland, good field position again for Canyon. Ball at the Raider 41-yard line.
The Cougar offense has been in good shape field position-wise thus far in the first half.
Again, out of the gun, the handoff is to Owen Worley, trying the right side of the Cougar offensive line, and Worley able to squirm ahead maybe a yard. Not a lot of penetration up front for the Canyon front line.
That's right. I believe it was Ryan Canfield coming over to make the stop for the Raiders that time. Bring up a 2nd and 9 for the Cougars.
All the heads of the Cougar offensive players to the far sideline getting a play from offensive coordinator Trenton Kirkland. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Worley will take the handoff out of the pistol. He's got some momentum on the right side. Breaks a tackle at the 45. Dives forward to the 47. That's a good run there for Owen on 2nd down. It's a gain of 6.
And he did do a good job that time. Worley bouncing off of tacklers to move that football. Give him a couple of 2 or 3 more yards of real estate in front.
Ball at the 47 of Canyon. Sniffing the midfield stripe. Canyon on 3rd down, 1 for 5 tonight. Another opportunity here on 3rd and 4. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. They are stacked receivers. 1 right behind the other. Handoff will go to Worley, though. They'll go to the right side again. And Worley this time unable to get any momentum going. Maybe 1 yard. But I think they're going to give him to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Another 4th down decision for Coach Muchagemba, 4th and 4. And unlike what we've seen before in this situation, they're going to send the punting unit out.
Yeah, you're a little bit too far back in your own territory to risk, turning the ball over. So
yeah, well, that and you're winning the battle of field position right now. You can continue to win that game given the way Martinez has punted the ball his first 2 times up. He'll take this punt. It's a high spiraling kick that does not turn over. It is fair caught inside the 20 at the 19-yard line by Rugley. So I'm going to count that as inside the 20, even though the ball is resting at the 20. 3 for 3 now for Jacob Martinez after that 29-yard punt.
And it is. If you look at the ball right now, it is inside the 20. You are correct.
1st and 10 for Cedar Ridge as Koss has taken out his offensive unit now for their 4th possession of the ball game. 6:25 left to go in the second quarter. It is 7-0 Cedar Ridge. Both teams have exchanged now 5 punts, just back and forth. But as we mentioned, Canyon right now winning the battle of field position. 2 receivers either way for Koss out of the shotgun. He comes to the near sideline. That ball is caught. It's Deuce Vaughn once again, and a host of Cougars there trying to rip the ball out. Among them, I see Martin Davis and others for Canyon.
J.C. Robledo also, on the stop for the Cougars. Good job keying on the receiver that time, stopping for a little gain.
Martin Davis led the team in tackles, or is the returner that leads the team in tackles from a year ago. Koss now out of the shotgun, 1 receiver to the left, 2 to the right, Bakari to his left. Switches Bakari now to his right. From the near hash, handoff to Bakari, the left side. He's got some running room. Across the 30 and the 35, watch out. Simi Bakari is in a Cougar territory, and they're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Cedar Ridge, 76 yards.
Well, we figured it may be just a matter of time before Bakari turned one loose, and there he did with 5:30 left to go before halftime. A huge touchdown run for Cedar Ridge.
Well, you talked to Sam Robinson, the head coach for Cedar Ridge, before the week. He was talking so much about how Bakari has put on bulk, and that was to make sure that he can withstand getting the ball over and over again. But Roland, after watching that bulk has not slowed that kid down.
That was my thoughts exactly. It has nothing to do with his speed.
Victor Winston to attempt the extra point for Cedar Ridge out of the hold of Rugley. Good snap, good hold, kick up. And it is no good. He missed it to the left. So a break there for Canyon. 5:30 left to go in the second quarter. Our new score, Cedar Ridge 13, Canyon 0. We'll step aside. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
The all-new Nissan and New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Welcome back to Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex in Austin, Texas. Cedar Ridge has just gone up ahead, added to their tally a 2-play, 77-yard touchdown drive, taking 55 seconds off the clock. And it was all done by Simi Bakari. 77-yard touchdown drive, 76 on the ground on that touchdown run by Bakari. Finally able to break one against this Cougar defense that has played so well tonight. But 2 big plays have gotten them, touchdowns for 61 and for 76.
That's exactly what it's been, the 2 big plays. Save that. I mean, they pretty much matched each other blow for blow.
Berlinga sends this ball deep. It'll be handled by McKay, who's told to stay in, but he'll bring it out across the 10-15. Drilled at the 15. Falls forward to the 17, and that's where the Cougars will have it. Without a doubt, the worst field position for them tonight at the 17-yard line. Need to note there, as we did the wrap-up of that scoring drive, that they missed the extra point, did Cedar Ridge. So 13-0 is our score here with 5:25 left to go before the half.
That's right. And, now's the time for that Cougar offense to make something happen. Get back in this game, bring the momentum and a little bit of confidence back to that side of the football.
This is one of those drives you're looking for, Roland, where you want to bleed as much of this clock as you can and get a score before the half. Remember, Cedar Ridge will get the ball to start the third quarter. Trips receivers to the far side for Perez, one to the near side. The handoff will go up the middle. No, that's a fake, and Perez has the ball. He is body slammed down to the ground by Edge Williams, the defensive end, as the zone read keeper goes nowhere. In fact, we'll go backwards back to the 11. brutal tackle there by Edge. Now, that guy's name is Edge Williams. That's the type of name I would want for my defensive end.
Yes, that's one of those all name teams. Edge Williams is certainly somebody you'd want to be on the defensive side of the football.
2nd down and 16 for Canyon as Perez bobbled the ball. He picks it up, and he's going to make something out of this. Comes to the near sideline to the 18-yard line before being thrown down. Again, I believe that's Edge Williams or Kobe Berkeley. One's 5, one's 6, and I can't tell with that jersey.
Yeah.
And that is, again, Edge Williams.
Yeah, it is. And we got back, I think, to the original line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a third. Well, actually picked up a couple of more yards. It'll be 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8, ball at the 19-yard line. Edge Williams, that defensive end, 6 foot 205, only a junior. He looks pretty good on that defensive end spot.
Oh, he does.
4 receivers here to the near side. That's the short side of the field. Empty backfield for Perez. Clap of the hands to get the snap from the center, and he does. Back to pass. He looks to the far side where the lone wide receiver was. Heaves the ball up. Facundo goes up for it, and here comes the flag. Facundo unable to bring down the football. One-on-one coverage there on the outside with Jalen Washington, and they might have baited Washington into a PI penalty.
And that's good heads-up football that time by Xavier Perez. And, to find a situation like that where this is exactly what occurred. And we're of course, here it is. There's a call, and it is against Cedar Ridge. So good heads up. That's what you want your quarterback to do, to be able to recognize situations like that where either they're going to catch it or you're going to get the ball advanced on a penalty.
I like the play design too, Roland. You had 4 wide receivers. A lot of the attention for Cedar Ridge over here to the near side of the field. One-on-one coverage on the far side, and that's where the ball went. Well placed by Perez to bait Washington into that coverage, and they get the penalty. So now move the football up to the 34-yard line and a fresh set of downs for Canyon. 4 minutes to go before the half.
And same situation, got trips to the near side and a single receiver to the far side.
Back is Seth Haney. To the right of Perez, he'll take the ball out of the shotgun, slips out of a tackle, comes to the near side on a little curl route, and he's got his man. That's Lane Young with the sliding catch, just shy of the 45-yard line. They'll give him the 44 at the stick. Should be enough for a Cougar first down, and it is.
One thing I'm liking about Perez is that he's stepping into the pressure that's coming, stepping up into it, buying himself some more time to find his receiver.
Cedar Ridge calls timeout before Canyon could get back to the line and get the ball off. There was an injured Cedar Ridge player that had trouble getting off the field, and that was Damon Williams, the defensive tackle. Canyon almost snapped the ball in time to get them with too many men on the field, but they gave Cedar Ridge the timeout just in time, and that actually probably benefits Cedar Ridge in a couple of ways. One, you get your player off the field, you avoid the penalty, but for the first time in a long time, Roland, we just saw Canyon get back into the rhythm. You get the first down, and you want to get back up and get into that offensive rhythm we saw in the first series.
That's right. Rhythm is important, and if you can break it like that, as you were mentioning, that will benefit your defense.
There should be one timeout left for Cedar Ridge. In this half, Canyon has not used any of theirs. 3:33 left to go before the half. Cedar Ridge is leading Canyon 13-0 with Canyon now driving. They've taken about 2 minutes off of the clock on this possession alone. Got it from they were as far back as their own 12 in a dire situation after Perez being body slammed on the first down of the series, but now able via penalty to get out of there, and they have a promising drive going. 1st and 10 Canyon as the referees are still sorting things out. They'll have 2 receivers to the left. That's going to be Young on the outside, and I believe David Gonzalez there on the slot. The 2 receivers to the far sideline is Jacob Garcia and Isaiah Scott. You have Haney to the left of Perez. They fake it to him, and they come to the near side. That's Gonzalez. Gets a good block across midfield and is shoved out of bounds by number 3, Damon Ramsey Graham, the senior strong safety. Gets into Raider territory and out of bounds. Stop the clock and pickup of 7.
Nice call. Move the football, and the Cougar offense is making something happen.
They did not stop the clock, even though he did get out of bounds. It's now under 3:10. Cougars back to the line. Out of the shotgun is Perez, looking for the quick slant over the middle. That ball is in and out of the hands of Lane Young. Falls incomplete. Young had contact as soon as the ball was delivered, and I think that was enough to dislodge it.
Might have just taken his eye off it there momentarily as well, but
Able to take a risk there on 2nd down and 3. Still manageable in this situation, 3rd and 3. Clock stopped with 2:53 left to go before the half as the Cougar offensive line making some substitutions. Joseph Busto, the center, has gone out for this play. So we have a new man under for Canyon on this particular play. Didn't seem like Bustos was hobbling off the field. We'll keep an eye on that. 2 receivers either way on 3rd and 3. They got a screen set up to Haney. He's got the ball in some room. Deeper into Raider territory, turning the corner at the 40, the 35 and 30. Finally caught from behind as he is inside the red zone at the 18-yard line. Great play call on 3rd and 3 and a big game for Canyon.
Absolutely. And, they've been working that area almost to perfection here recently. So right in the middle has been working for them.
Back to the line quickly is Canyon, and whistles have stopped play. The chains were not set on the far sideline. After that big play for Canyon, you got to scramble down there. 31 yards on the screen pass, setting up Canyon. Now they'll move the ball to the 17. No, still marked at this. Well, the far sideline has it marked at the 18. The near side official at the ball has it knocked at the 18. And now they move the far chains to the 18. So you understand the confusion there is really rolling again. Maybe some home cooking here in Round Rock for this defense, but Canyon trying to get up and going with their rhythm, and play is stopped to get the officiating straight. Trips right receivers to the far side. They'll give it to him. The pass goes to Jacob Garcia, who takes it and throws the ball back on a little wide receiver pass, and that ball is intercepted. Check that. That was not Jacob Garcia. That was Colin Farr. And that ball is intercepted. Damon Ramsey Graham, the free safety, making the interception.
Yeah, ill-advised pass. He kind of hung it up there and gave the defensive secondary man from Cedar Ridge a chance to adjust and get onto the ball and take it away.
Had everything on the far sideline. Nice pitch, and Roland, just looking at the replay there, I don't think Farr knew that his receiver was going to be open, just kind of chunked it to a general area, and a mistake made for Canyon, their first real turnover of the game. They did have a turnover on downs, but that interception stalls a promising drive once again, and Cedar Ridge will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 10. Koss with a little zone read, play up the middle, and a chance for an interception, and the ball will fall short of a diving Vances McKay. Incomplete pass set up 2nd and 10.
Right in and out of his hands. You talk about Johnny on the spot. McKay was right there, just couldn't come away with the pick.
Coming out of the backfield for Cedar Ridge was Deuce Vaughn. A little seam route just off the tip of his hands, and McKay, good effort to at least get around it, but ultimately falling short. 2nd and 10, Cedar Ridge. Now 2:06 left to go before the half. Ball at the 10, 2 receivers here to the near side. Bakari to the right of Koss, who's out of the gun, 1 receiver to the left. Canyon making the changes personnel-wise on defense, and they'll have to reset the play clock. Oh, Roland, we've seen 2 good teams come out on the first game of the season, look like they're in midseason form. We can't say the same thing about the referees tonight.
Well, it's first game of the season for most of them, I guess.
We'll give him a break. Hand off to Bakari, the left side. He'll try. He's dragging Cougar defenders with him. First contact made at the 13, but he'll plow forward to the 19. Going to be a gain of 8 now, 2nd and 3.
And, that's what you want to do if you're the Cedar Ridge offense. Keep it on the ground, eat up that clock, go into the locker room with a 13-point lead at halftime.
Koss under center, fakes the victory kneel, and comes forward enough for a Raider first down. Odd situation there. Koss actually faked like he was going to kneel the ball in victory formation, thinking they're going to run out the clock, and instead piles forward enough for a Raider first down on a gain of 5.
That's right, and the clock does continue to run, like I said.
2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. You have Cash Rugley, the receiver in the slot, waving his arms. He thinks he has a mismatch. Bakari down to the left of Koss. Koss will fake it to Bakari, keep it, goes to the left side, makes a man miss at the 30, and Koss is out in the open. Making Cougars miss as he cuts by near field, now into Cougar territory. Switches his ball to the outside hand, and he's got kind of a convoy of blockers here. Cougars desperately trying to get him out of bounds, and they do not. Inside the 10, the 5. Oh, yep. Do they? They do spot him at the 3-yard line as Koss dove for the pylon and got it, but the near side receiver, or excuse me, near side official marks him out at the 3.
72-yard run.
They're crediting Cost there with a 72-yard run. It's been giving up the big plays. It's been the one-off big plays that have hurt Canyon this evening.
As we have a Cougar who has lost his shoe. That is number 5, J.C. Robledo, and you don't want to lose your outside linebacker to something as silly as he lost his shoe. And you know what? He just chunks it to the far side. He said, I'm not going to sit this one out. You could have my shoe. I'll get back in the defensive huddle. We have to make a stand here. 1:05 left to go before the half. Cedar Ridge is up. The scoreboard says 19-0. That is not true. It should be 13-0. Cedar Ridge, 1:05 left to go.
Yeah, they put the points on the board after seeing the official back there raise his hands for a touchdown.
That's a great point. You know, I missed that. I did not see that. I saw the ref mark it at the 3, and that's where the ball stands. Another sideline interference. So, Roland, what they're going to call here is sideline interference again against Cedar Ridge. They already have their warning, so they will be assessed a 15-yard penalty. The ball was spotted at the 3, so this will push them back to the 18. They took the points off the scoreboard, so resetting everything. 1st and 10 Cedar Ridge from the 18-yard line of Canyon, going in left to right with a 13-0 lead. Koss will take the ball on a design quarterback keeper. He's in trouble. He'll retreat to the near side. Cougars are with him. He'll chunk the ball downfield, intended for Jose Berlanga here, who came to help bail him out. The ball will go incomplete. In coverage there, in pressure is Fabian Facundo and James Perez applying heat as well.
That was my first thought is who is he throwing it to? And then there was Berlanga in the shot, so absolutely.
Avoids disaster
yes,
there. The
indeed.
Cougars were able to make him at least run for his life a little bit, a lot better than how he just ran against them on the previous play. 2nd and 10 at the 18. 2 receivers left to right. Bakari to the left. Koss out of the gun, near side hash. Looking to the near side is Koss, a little slant route across the middle. The ball is caught at the 4 and into the end zone. Jalen Ellis will walk in, and a touchdown for Cedar Ridge, 18 yards, Koss to Ellis.
And that's how you draw it up in the locker room. Just a perfect pitch and catch that time from Koss to Ellis. Puts them back on the scoreboard now with under a minute left to go in the first half. Extra point coming.
Extra point. Their kicking game perhaps is the weakest part of this Cedar Ridge team. If they have dreams of going to make a run for state championship, that's going to cause them some fits.
You know,
Vincent Winson is their kicker. This ball is up, and it is no good as well. So 1 for 3 is Winston on extra points, and perhaps the door kept a little bit open for Canyon. 19-0 is our new score. 50 seconds left to go before the half. We'll step aside here on the Cougar Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
Welcome back to our state capital of Austin officially, though this is part of the Round Rock Independent School District. Kelly Reeves Stadium, affectionately known as the Palace on Palmer. And Roland, I don't want to date myself, but when I was in high school, this stadium was built, and it was a grand structure. But now you look at some of these stadiums in the greater San Antonio area, and it's just kind of a run-of-the-mill high school football stadium.
This, to me, has always been spectacular. If you get a chance to come up here and watch a game, to me, take advantage of it.
Berlinga kicks off for Cedar Ridge. It's going to be returnable by McKay at his 4-yard line. Comes to the near side, and he is met immediately. Check that. That is not McKay. That was McKay, excuse me. Number 11 for Canyon. Gets out to the 18-yard line, and it'll be a Cougar first down. Now with 44 seconds left to go before the half. And Roland, if I've seen one thing, that might be enough time for Canyon. If they get some momentum going here, this is an offense that can move the ball down the field pretty quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, that first drive, as we recall, it was almost like clockwork. It was almost like a 2-minute drill. And that's exactly what they could take advantage of that right now and, of course, put some points on the board before half.
That was a 6-play, 89-yard touchdown drive for Cedar Ridge that ends up giving the ball back to Canyon. Down 19-0 here, 44 seconds before the half. Now moving right to left. Two receivers either way for Perez. Out of the gun. Fakes the handoff. He'll keep it. Tries the right side. Some running room. Falls forward to the 21. And Roland with that zone read keeper, I think we know what Coach Muchagimba and Trenton Kirkland want to do here. Probably just get into the locker room.
Absolutely. I think that may be the case. Under half a minute now left to go in the first half.
They don't need to snap it here. 23 seconds left on the clock, 27 on the game clock, so there is a difference. They will not be at a delay of game penalty should they not snap it, but they do. They fake the handoff to Owen Worley, and Perez will keep it to the right side. I don't think he's able to get out of bounds. Tries to turn the corner. It is going to be shy of the 25, maybe to the 23-yard line. The clock continues to go, and that is the end of the first half. We played one half of football here on the Cougars Network. Our score at the half, Cedar Ridge 19, Canyon 0. We'll step aside on the Cougars Network. When we come back, halftime festivities. Do not go anywhere.
Did you ever play Tetris as a kid?
Yes, I did. Watch out.
I couldn't find a chain for you guys, but I got my necklace from the car.
It's starting to feel like a home.
Welcome to your new house.
Oh, my gosh.
I cannot believe they turned that into a house.
Watch FYI. GVTC Digital Cable Channel 132. GVTC, just plain smart.
And now, Canyon High School proudly presents the 2017 14-time national champion, Canyon High School Aristocats. And now please welcome the Aristocats, under the direction of Taylor Goodman and assisted by Carrie Brown. The social officers are Ava Ferguson, Cassidy Bublasis, Aubrey Campbell, and the head social officer is Cassidy Franz. The dance officers are Junior Lieutenants Kelsey Gomez and Grace Warren, Senior Lieutenants Madison Noble, Bailey Brook, and Shelby McGrath. First Lieutenant Thalia Lopez, and the Aristocat captain is Alyssa LeBaron. The Aristocrat of the Week is Taylor Walsham. Now sit back, relax as the Aristocats perform an exciting palm routine to All the Small Things.
What is the fastest land animal in the... Oh!
It's a cougar. It's a cougar. It's a cougar.
Get to know our Cougars in a whole new way as they take the Cougar Challenge. Who do you think actually gave the Canyon Cougars their mascot? Fun questions will bring out the real competitors in this group. So what's the math on that? Puma, mountain lion, panther, catamount, deer lion, they go on and on. How do you spell Coach Muchagumba?
Triceratops.
I bet Coach Mooch would appreciate that, huh? And then
Burns, the ring of fire. The ring of fire.
Cougars Network brings you Cougar Challenge every week, only on Cougars Football with Joe Muchagumba.
Please don't hate me if I get it wrong.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Comal Independent School District, Frost Bank, Nissan of New Braunfels, Wick Productions, Ashley, Zaxby's, and Texas Tractor Country.
He puts this 10-yard charge into the football, does Martinez. It drives Jalen Ellis back to his end zone 6 yards deep, trying to bring it out, and the Cougars are there. Nothing doing as he crosses the 10-yard line and met by a host of Cougars. In fact, one of the Cougars came out of the pile with a football, but the referee had blown the ball dead. They'll spot it at the 15-yard line, so bad field position for quarterback Ezekiel Koss as he'll bring out his offense.
As we were talking about the right foot there, Martinez, what a job there, pinning him back around the 15-yard line, back deep in Cedar Ridge territory.
You have Cash Rugley here on the near side alongside number 22, Deuce Vaughn. Those are your receivers here on the near side. Bakari is slated to the right of Ezekiel Koss, one receiver to the far side. Man in motion from right to left. They'll give the ball to Bakari. No, it's a fake, and Koss will keep it. Has some running room across the near side. And look at this. He is gone across midfield into Cougar territory. They will not catch him. 20, 10-5. And on the opening play of the third quarter, Ezekiel Koss has gone 85 yards and scored a touchdown.
Well, giving up the big play again. That's not the way you want to start the second half, but you've got to just kind of tip your cap sometimes to the opposing team. In this case, Cedar Ridge, they've certainly known how to take advantage of those opportunities.
Big question mark for Cedar Ridge coming into this ball game is how Koss will do in this system. We mentioned he had playing time on the varsity level as a sophomore over at Laredo Alexander. And as a sophomore, passed for over 3,000 yards, had 29 touchdowns to his credit, and had to come here at Cedar Ridge. His dad was got a job here as a defensive coordinator, and he's made this transition very well and is running a very efficient offense. Berlinga is up to try the extra point, and that extra point is good. Let's keep things here on the Cougar Network. 11:36 left to go in the third quarter, and Cedar Ridge has extended their lead 26-0. One thing I noticed on that extra point, Roland, is you did have Jose Berlinga in on there to kick extra points. So Victor Winston, who has missed 2 extra points in this ball game, I think he's done with the kicking duties tonight.
Well, you try first game of the season, bring everybody out. Okay, you've won the starting job, but it's really, as we were talking about, even on the defensive side of the football for Canyon, it's an evaluation. It's to see, who is going to step up and make the big play when you need, and apparently Cedar Ridge found that in the kicking area as well.
I talked to Coach Sam Robinson earlier in the week about it, and I said, the information you gave me, you didn't tell me who your kicker was, and it was silent on the other end for about 5 seconds.
I think we see why.
And I said, I don't think you know who your kicker is. Perhaps the lone blemish on this well fine-tuned Cedar Ridge football team. Berlinga has the ball teed up at the 40-yard line, and deep receiving for Canyon. McKay is back there with Dalen Watanabe. 8-yard charge and a left foot from Berlinga sends McKay to his end zone. He'll watch the ball go over his head down for a touchback. So Watanabe and McKay unable to advance the ball out of the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 Canyon at the 25.
Well, Cedar Ridge with one play to start the second half, an 85-yard touchdown run by the quarterback Ezekiel Koss. Put them back on the scoreboard. We got to see if the Cougar offense has some answer in them to get this second half started for them offensively.
Xavier Perez will come on the field. He is the Cougars' leading passer and rusher. Had a pretty decent ball game to start 2017 for the junior. He sees some action at quarterback as a sophomore last year. We mentioned 51% of his passes completed, had a 1-to-7 touchdown interception ratio last year, but seems to fit in well in Coach Kirkland's new offense. He comes to the line of scrimmage to give instructions to the offensive line. 2 receivers to the left, a 1 to the right as Perez settles back into the shotgun. Hands the ball off to Haney, and Haney has some running room here on the near side to the 30. Got across the 30 to the 31. It's a gain of 6 on first down, and that gets the Cougars back into this into an offensive rhythm. Back in the shotgun, they'll give it to Haney. No, it's a keeper here to the near side. Perez across the 35 dives forward to the 37. Number 6 is there to make the tackle. That's Edge Williams, the defensive end.
There's that name again, Edge Williams.
All over the place.
He's had a good game thus far defensively for Cedar Ridge.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. First down on their opening possession. 11:09 left to go here in the third quarter. They'll hand off to Haney. Tries the left side, gets a little bit of running room. He's going to have to earn for everything after contact. Across the 40 to the 41. Let's give him 4 yards there on first down.
It's deep in on that stop. I believe Nathan Hamilton from his linebacker position for the Raiders. Not before a nice gain that time by the Cougar running back.
Well, you want about 4 yards on first down. That is the goal. It gets Canyon to play ahead of the change as the entire offense is looked over to the far sideline. They'll get instructions from the Cougar coaching staff. 2 receivers that are stacked to the far sideline. That's the short side. 1 here to the near side is Lane Young. The handoff goes to Haney. some running room again as the Cougar line is starting to get some penetration. I think that's going to be another 4 or 3 by Haney, just shy of the 45-yard line. Taj Williams making the tackle again, the run stopper for Cedar Ridge.
And you wonder, could that Cedar Ridge defense be wearing down a little bit? I realize it's still early in the second half, but they've been on the field quite a bit.
The Bull Moose up front, and Jose Bustos and Trevor Hopkins, that offensive line for Canyon, making some good headway. 2 receivers here to the near side. It's Farr and Young. Out of the gun is Perez. He goes for the pass up the seam out of the backfield, and that is caught. Shane Haney into Raider territory across the 30 and 20, across the 10 before being pushed out of bounds inside the 5, and a late flag comes in. Seth Haney unable to get to the pylon, but he's out at the 2. Dalen Ramsey Graham making the tackle for Cedar Ridge. Roland, let's check out the flag.
All right.
Out of the backfield, Seth Haney on the seam route. Plenty of room over the top and a nice ball delivered by Xavier Perez.
Well, it's obviously apparently against the defense.
Well, look, here's the way I see it, Roland. If you're going to get a face mask penalty, might as well do it at the 2-yard line.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Half the distance, give it to the 1. It'll end up being a 1-yard penalty.
Personal foul, face mask. That's it exactly.
Came over the top of Seth Haney, did Ramsey Graham. Infraction called there by the back judge.
Okay, the Cougars have had a lot of great opportunities all game long. Now is the time you've got to take advantage of it and punch in the end zone.
Ball at the 1, out of the gun. Handoff to Owen Worley. Worley trying to keep his feet going, is stuffed. Maybe half a yard, but not enough to break the pylon. It'll be 2nd and goal. Nathan Hamilton making initial contact from his inside linebacker position.
That's right. Just keep pushing that football forward. They've been getting good penetration running the football, so let's see if that's still in the arsenal.
Second trip to the red zone for Canyon tonight. Out of the shotgun. Fake to Worley. Pass into the flat. Is caught. Touchdown, Canyon. Number 81 making the catch. That's Trevor Pape, the tight end, on a little play action, and Canyon has gotten on the board.
You got to love it because Cedar Ridge was concentrating on the run. They were keying on it. Canyon has been successful with it on this drive. And what do? You run to set up the pass, and that's exactly what happened. And finally, the Cougars are on the scoreboard.
A little bit of everything on that drive. The first touchdown of the year for Canyon, and there is some confusion after the celebrations for their extra point unit as they finally have everybody set. Jacob Martinez set for the extra point. Out of the hold of number 12, Cooper Holm. That kick is up and good. 9 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Canyon has responded. Our new score, Cedar Ridge 26, Canyon 7. You're listening to Cougars Network.
Tom Brady, that's a mic drop.
This is football, and this is how it is.
Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
Roland Ruiz with you. The Governor Austin Milam and Bo Wick behind us providing support. Canyon has gotten on the board. It is a 7-play, 75-yard drive, 2 minutes, 36 seconds off the clock. The big play to Seth Haney was 53 yards down to the 1. The touchdown drive is a 1-yard touchdown pass. Xavier Perez to Trevor Pape add the extra point. Canyon is now trailing 26-7 as Jacob Martinez sends this kickoff down to the far sideline at the 5. It is taken by Cedar Ridge, coming back out to the near side. Canyon finally able to jump on the back of the return man, not before he gets past the 30 to the 32. That's Deuce Williams, the return man for, Deuce Vaughn, the return man for Cedar Ridge.
Now it's time for that Cougar defense. Stand up, make a stop, and let's see if the offense can respond once again like they did there in the beginning of the third quarter, or the second offensive drive of the third quarter. First for the Cougars, that is.
Last time out, Ezekiel Koss took the ball 85 yards on a touchdown run to open things up here in the third quarter. Second possession for the second half. For the Raiders, he's the ball spotted at their own 32, moving right to left. 2 receivers here to the near side, one to the far. Simi Bakari to the left of Koss. Out of the shotgun, the handoff is to Bakari, who goes up the middle, and he is dragging Cougar defenders with him. Initial contact made at the line of scrimmage, and Bakari has dragged them 10 yards down to the 42, enough for a Raider first down.
Well, there's the result of that bulking up you were talking about. Yeah. He was just carrying Cougar defenders with him that time.
We've seen everything from him, the speed to run away from guys and the power to run through them, up the middle, left, right. Simi Bakari, one of the better running backs here in the greater Austin area. 1st and 10 Raiders from the 42. Moving right to left, Bakari to the left of Koss. He takes the handoff, and there's plenty of running room up the field. Simi Bakari, here's his speed. He is gone, untouched, up the Cougar defense for a 58-yard touchdown run. Simi Bakari has answered Canyon School.
And just that quick, they come back with their workhorse, Bakari. As you were mentioning, 58 yards from the line of scrimmage. Wow, we've seen it all. Power, speed. Young man is certainly something to behold.
Offensive line was kind of a question for Cedar Ridge. They had Tommy Smith over at left tackle, the only returning starter on that offensive line. So they move over Akil Chavies from the defensive line, and the Bull Moose able to get some penetration there and get some running room. Extra point there by Berlanga is up and in. And our new score with 8:24 left to go in the third quarter, Cedar Ridge 33, Canyon 7. Roland, let's keep it here. As we talk about Canyon's effort defensively, you know, tonight the question is, how do you stop the big play? And I think we have to look we'll have to talk to Coach Joe Muchigimba perhaps later on in the week to see what he saw on the film, because big plays like that really could just be one misassignment or one good block from the other guy. Let's give them some credit as well. That could be all the difference in a play like that.
Absolutely. I think they have been using their blocking schemes to their advantage to open up the big play for the Raiders thus far this evening. But, yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what Coach Muchigamba has to say about what he saw, because, of course, that's an analysis, you know, from a head coach's point of view that only they can point out.
Touchdown runs for Bakari tonight, 76 and 58. You add the 85-yarder by Koss and a 61-yard touchdown pass. The big plays have been the story of the night for Cedar Ridge.
76 and 58, that's 134 yards worth of touchdown run for Bakari. And that's just the touchdown run.
Yeah, that is efficient running by Bakari. We have McNay and Watanabe in deep receiving for Canyon, as Berlanga has the ball teed up at the 40-yard line. Raises his hand, puts it down, and a run up to the ball. It's a end-over-end kick, and McKay will take it at the 5-yard line. Plenty of running room on the left side, got a wall set up, and now all of a sudden that wall has collapsed. Unable to turn the corner at the 15, flag in at the 15-yard line. We'll see what that is. The flag was thrown by the back judge. And is this going to be bad field position, worse field position, or is Canyon going to get a break?
Seems as though the indication is that it's against Canyon, so I think here comes the call.
The ball at the 15.
Illegal block in the
back is the call against Canyon, so I think that's going to be half the distance. Either way, Canyon is going to be inside the 10.
Oh, bad break that time for the Cougars. Cougars back. You know, still we're at 33-7. Still plenty of time left, though, in this ball game for Canyon to make a run.
That would be 26. So now the deficit 26. That does extend it to now a 4-possession ball game. And again, this is non-district play. And you talked to Coach Joe Muchigimba. They're coaching to win. The players are playing to win. But big picture, you want to be as prepared as you can getting into district, and playing quality competition like Cedar Ridge is going to prepare you.
Absolutely, and that's the whole thing. When you play the Judsons, the Smiths and Valleys, you remember you played the Cedar Ridges, and that'll get you there.
1st and 10 from the 7-yard line. Perez will keep it on his own read keeper. Spins out of a tackle. He's still got his feet going. Oh, nice moves there by Xavier Perez to keep his momentum going forward, not putting the knee down. He barrels forward just shy of the first down marker. They'll give it the 11. I believe it's a pickup of 7.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was Jimmy Esparza coming over to make the stop. He was in defensively that time for Cedar Ridge. Not before a big 8-yard gain that time by the Cougars.
2nd and 2, 2 receivers to the far sideline. That's a short side of the field. Those receivers are stacked. You have a lone receiver here to the far side, to the near sideline, the wide side. The handoff is faked to Worley, and Perez will try to dive for the first down. After faking out the defensive end, is he going to be short or not? It's going to be a close spot. We'll see where they spot it. He needs to get Roland to the 17-yard line, and it is enough for a first down.
They indicated it was a first down, and coming over defensively, Victor Winston. We called his name quite a bit this evening.
Got the ball at the 18, fresh set of downs for Canyon. The offense trying to get back into the rhythm. That's where we've seen this offense at its best, when able to keep the chains going, play ahead of them, and get into a rhythm. Out of the shotgun is Perez. They have a screen set up. It's passed over the middle, is caught. And that's going to be Pape again. Pape with the touchdown reception on the last drive. Gets past the 20, but give him to the 22. It's a gain of 4 on first down.
It's Chase Coots that time coming over from his middle linebacker position to make the stop for Cedar Ridge.
Coots, a junior, had some experience playing in that linebacking core last year. A defense that only allowed 13 points a game. I mean, one of the better defenses in the area. 2nd and 6 out of the gun. It's a stretch look for Perez, trying to turn the corner to the left side, unable to do it. A lot of speed and power on that Cedar Ridge defense, strings out the play. I think it's going to end up being a loss when it's all said and done. 3rd and long.
Absolutely. Jamin Byers that time running him out of bounds for the Raiders. But it, as you were mentioning, it's going to be 3rd and a little bit of real estate to pick up here to get that first down.
3rd and 8. Canyon now moving backwards in this drive. It's a long 3rd down opportunity for Canyon. Offense looking to the far side of the field, getting their calls in from their offensive coaching staff. 2 receivers to the left. It's a balanced line. Check that. It's a strong left line. Seth Haney, the running back to the right. Xavier back to pass. Steps up in the pocket, flings it downfield, and that's going to end up being out of bounds. Roland, he was hit as he threw, almost flung down, unable to make an accurate pass there. The pressure got to him.
That's right. He had a man on the far sideline, but, yeah, it was the defensive pressure that came up and grabbed him, seemingly to spin him to the ground. And luckily he got rid of it, and it got out of bounds, so it wasn't a turnover.
Now, Jacob Martinez has done well in the kicking game in this ball game. 3 of his punts have gone inside the 20. It's going to take a howitzer to get this one inside the 20 as Martinez runs out there. He is standing at his own 6.
Or a good roll.
That would be nice, too. 2 Raider receivers awaiting this at their own 45. Snap back to Martinez. Right leg into it. It's a spiraling kick that hangs in the air and goes out of bounds. Nice directional punting there by Jacob Martinez. The referee has marked the ball out at the 43-yard line for Cedar Ridge. Roland, I thought I was going to have that about at the 50, so perhaps my eyes deceiving me a little bit, but a very beautiful punt there.
Nice punt
by Martinez. It is a punt of 37 and no return.
Certainly among the highlights. There have been several highlights for Canyon this evening. The punting and kicking game has certainly been among them, though. Jacob Martinez, hats off to you. You've done a great job thus far.
Canyon certainly has won the kicking game tonight in tonight's ball game. 1st and 10 for Cedar Ridge. They got the ball at their own 43, moving right to left with 6:10 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Pass out to the flats. It's Trey Williams, unable to shake free of a couple of defenders. Good sure tackling there. Vance's McKay and Fabian Facundo making initial contact for Canyon.
Yeah, McKay and Facundo coming over and saying, not this time. They remember that long touchdown run he had in the first.
Yeah, it was almost identical play, identical situation. But sure tackling there for Canyon. Gain of 1, now 2nd and 9, under 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. 2 receivers to the near side, it's the short side of the field, 1 to the far. Out of the shotgun, they fake the handoff. No, they do give it, and that is not Bakari. That is his backup, R.J. Robinson, who makes a man miss just shy of the 50-yard line. Falls forward into Canyon territory, right at the sticks. I think he has enough for a Raider first down, and he does.
I believe so. Clock continues to run, as you were mentioning. Or actually, it stopped. 5:27 left to go.
For the first down, ball now in Cougar territory at the 47. 2 receivers near side. Out of the gun is Koss. And again, Robinson, the lone back. Hand off to Robinson, and that ball, Robinson churning feet forward, going up the middle, has enough for a first down, another 10-yard gain. And actually, little correction here, that is not Ezekiel Koss at quarterback. This is Jalen Brown, the 6'1", 200-pound sophomore. But Josh Heiser, the defensive tackle, making the tackle there for Canyon.
Well, bringing in, I guess, some of the backups right now. They want their shot at it. They want their shot at a little more playing time, and they're getting it right now to show their head coach.
You got Jalen Brown, a sophomore, again, 6'1", 200 pounds. Something tells me that he's going to be a good one if something were to happen to Cox. Well, the handoff will go to the right side. That's Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn turns the corner, gets down the sideline, the 10, the 5. He is into the end zone. Deuce Vaughn, touchdown from about 37 yards out.
Wow. And they still seem to be able to make that big play happen there, Ben. And yet another long touchdown run for the Raiders with 4:40 left to go here in the third period.
This team, Cedar Ridge, Roland, is so deep. I mean, you may think of them as backups, but I'll tell you, a lot of these players that are out there,
exactly,
they could be starting on a lot of other schools in and around the area. The kick is down and up, and it is a no good. So Cedar Ridge has again missed an extra point. Our new score, 4:40 left to go in the third quarter. Cedar Ridge 39, Canyon 7. We'll step aside. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan of New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas, 39-7. Your score, Cedar Ridge on top of Canyon. Simi Bakari, 153 yards on the ground. Ezekiel Koss, 165 running the ball. 374 total for Cedar Ridge, and Bakari and Koss were not on that last drive for them. It's a 37-yard touchdown run by Deuce Vaughn, a drive that was 4 plays, 57 yards, took a minute 30 off the clock. Berlinga, the left footer, kicks off for Cedar Ridge. McKay takes it at the 2-yard line and will turn upfield across the 20. A little bit of running room there, makes initial contact at the 23 before diving across the 35. I think they'll spot the ball at the 26, and Canyon will once again take over.
Absolutely. 374 yards thus far on the ground. And it's like you were saying at the beginning of the game. It's what they wanted to do offensively is to run the football. That's how they were gonna pick up yardage, and that's exactly what they've done.
The head coach last year for Cedar Ridge was Sean Bell, and during the offseason, Coach Bell took a job at Baylor. And the thing about that to note is he didn't leave this school to take another head coaching job. So a lot of the coaching staff stayed intact. They promoted Sam Robinson to be the coach, and so a lot of the culture has stayed the same. 1st and 10 for Canyon. The handoff goes to Seth Haney on first down. Haney back to the line of scrimmage, maybe 1, but I think it's going to end up being 2nd and 10.
It was Chris Laws that time coming over. You were mentioning they're probably going to their bench for a lot of the defensive players as well.
2nd and 10, Perez from the far hash. Handoff is fake to Haney, goes to the far sideline with the pass. The pass is caught in a little 2-on-2 ball game out there on the far sideline. Malik Dazaire, the man in coverage, as I'm still trying to figure out who caught that football. I believe that was 18. Callan Farr had a great series or two to start the ball game, been quiet ever since then. Able to haul in that one and get maybe 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 6. Under 4 minutes now in the third quarter. Cedar Ridge 39, Canyon 7. 3rd and 6 for Canyon. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Fake slap of the hands for Perez. Gets the football, back to pass. Looks down in the middle of the field. Has Pape. Pape with a wonderful one-handed catch across midfield into Raider territory. Not only, Roland, was that a one-handed catch, that was in double coverage, and he hauls it down. Got down to the Raider 43-yard line, and Canyon is back up to the line of scrimmage. And, oh, there's a flag down.
You know, a couple of huge catches tonight for Pape. Duvon Jones that time on the coverage for the Raiders. Let's check this penalty marker.
Penalty is back at the 27, and then it is an illegal man downfield, and something tells me that Pape probably wasn't lined up where he wanted to be. You heard the referee mention the tight end, that was Pape. So one thing either happened there, Roland. He was on the line when he wasn't supposed to be, or he was off the line when he should have been. But fundamental mistake there.
Exactly.
Perhaps you expect that in the first game of the season.
Just one of those miscues that they'll have to correct in practice this week.
The problem is that wipes off a big gain, and a wonderful catch by Pape taken off the board would have gotten them into Raider territory. Instead, they are marching backwards. The 5-yard penalty pushes it back. Should be 3rd and 11 as the ball is now at the Cougars' own 25-yard line. Haney, the running back, to the right of the quarterback, Xavier Perez, who's back to pass, looks to the far side of the field, in and out of the hands of his receiver, and incomplete. 24, Isaiah Scott, the 5'11", 165-pound junior, the intended receiver.
Those are back that time on coverage defensively for Cedar Ridge, and we're seeing the punting team come on. That's going to be that another punting situation for the Cougars.
Yeah, on 4th and 11 for sure. Down 39-7. Martinez, probably the player of the night for Canyon. Don't want it in the punting game. We'd like it in the other aspects of the kicking game, but he's had a great night tonight. Another punt from him. It is a spiraling kick high in the air. That turns over, and a fair catch is called by Deuce Vaughn at the 42-yard line. So another great punt there by Jacob Martinez, and most important to note, on that 33-yard punt, 0 on the return. You know, that's one thing that they teach punters. If you can't get it into the 40s and 50 ranges, that's okay. You know, you think of a good punt, like it was, 40-some-odd yards. But, Roland, I'll tell you, if you could get 35, 30, right in that range, and no return, a lot of special teams coaches will take that.
Absolutely. Just keep them where you punt it.
The quarterback is Ezekiel Koss, as he is back in this ball game. We saw Jalen Brown for a series. 2 receivers here to the near side. They fake the handoff. No, they do give it, and I believe that is R.J. Robinson. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage. The Cougars are there, and they're still fighting for the football. That is Martin Davis, the inside linebacker, not giving up on the play, and perhaps they say play to the end of the whistle, but he was playing to the end of the 10th whistle on that one.
Little help from Antonio de Leon, who came over and put a pop on him as well. It's
Well, see, I'm having a hard time. Was that De Leon? De Leon wears 8, Davis wears 9, and they play next to each other. And from high atop here at Kelly Reeves' press box, it's tough to tell. Plus, the jersey's kind of scrunched there.
Yeah, well, he's the linebacker coming closest to us right there, and I think that's an 8.
Yeah, that is 8. That's Antonio De Leon. So forgive me, Martin Davis, for for what I said about you earlier, but that was Antonio De Leon fighting to the very end and threw the whistle. Now, there's a flag down that came during the play, and that is in the Cedar Ridge side of the field at the 38-yard line. We'll see what the indication is. Illegal procedure is the indication against Cedar Ridge, so no after the ball penalty against De Leon or the running back R.J. Robinson. This will be a procedural penalty that will knock Cedar Ridge back 5 yards.
2nd down for the Raiders.
At least it should. They haven't moved the ball yet. And they won't. That's odd. They gave him 1 yard. 2nd down and 9. Koss takes the snap. Handoff will go to Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn unable to shake the tackle of number 56, Aaron Rodriguez, the outside linebacker. Got him by the shoestring, did not let him go. Deuce Vaughn unable to shake free. It's going to be a loss of 3 back to the 40-yard line. Excellent tackle there as Rodriguez able to make initial contact and hang on for dear life, ends up wrestling him down to the ground.
By the way, just keeping up on scores from around the area, as you had mentioned, start of the fourth quarter, it's Hendrickson on top of Smithson Valley, 13-10.
We'll keep an eye on that. That one not too far away from us up here in the North Austin area. Bat snap, bat to Koss. He'll have to improvise. He just falls on it and eats it. Coming in to apply pressure for Canyon is 23, Cody Lees. The ball will go back to the 30-yard line, actually outside the 30-yard line, just shy of the 29. It's a big loss for Cedar Ridge and a fourth down opportunity here for Canyon to get the ball back as Cash Rugley, the wide receiver, punter, return man, almost do everything man for Cedar Ridge, is back to punt. Rugley 6'1", 180-pound senior. Have him listed as return man, slot receiver, and punter. Deep receiving is McKay for Canyon as Rugley takes the punt, sends it in the air. It's high, it's short, it's end over end. It bounces at the 50, takes a Cougar bounce, and everybody's trying to get away from it as that would have been a live ball. Cedar Ridge finally downs it after it gave Canyon 4 more yards of field position. So that's a 15-yard punt. It wouldn't even have been enough for a first down. But it is spotted inside Raider territory at the 46. 1:27 left to go here in the third quarter. Cedar Ridge up 39-7. Canyon getting the football back.
And a good field position for the Cougars right now. Just a little under a minute and a half left in the third quarter.
Cougars moving left to right. This third quarter has drug on. You had a lot of touchdowns to show for it as part of the reason, but this has been a very long quarter time-wise. 2 receivers here to the near side as the ball is hounded off to Seth Haney. Haney on the left side of the Cougar line falls forward for 5. Good pickup there on first down for Seth.
Tank Elmore on the stop from his defensive tackle position for Cedar Ridge as the clock continues to move.
They got good names there on that defensive line.
They do.
You have Edge playing defensive end, and you have Tank up the middle.
All defensive team names there. Liking it.
Perez out of the shotgun on second down and 5. Moving left to right. Handoff goes to Haney. He's got some running
Nice
across
hold.
the 40 and 30. Seth Haney into deep. Oh, he's fumbled the football across the 10, and Cedar Ridge has fallen on top of it. Seth Haney had a touchdown in his grasp, got hit from behind, and the ball fell out. Inside the 5, they'll mark it. Justin Santinella, I believe, recovered the fumble for Cedar Ridge.
Not only that, Santinella, when he hit him to try and bring him down, he jarred the ball loose. So it was a very wise play that time by the defensive secondary man for Cedar Ridge to jar that ball loose and give the Raiders possession deep in their own territory, but they've got the football once again.
That's the second turnover for Canyon tonight. They had an interception in the red zone and now a fumble in the red zone. So, if you want to play that what-if game, there's 2 possible touchdowns that the Cougars have ended up turning the ball over. 46 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Cedar Ridge now with the ball, but bad field position at their own 4. Koss is the quarterback. Handoff will go to, I believe that's Deuce Vaughn, runs into his own player at the 6-yard line. He's still battling forward, folks. Wow, I can't believe they didn't call forward progress as he ends up getting out to the 9-yard line. Antonio DeLeon once again on the tackle of Deuce Vaughn.
Well, there's still a lot of pride out there in that Canyon bunch, and they're showing it. Of course, it's not indicated on the scoreboard, but
Never in doubt when you watch Cougar football. They will play you to the end.
that's it. See, awful lot of pride and an awful lot of want-to. You've got to tip your cap to that.
Final seconds bleeding off the scoreboard here at Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex in Austin, Texas. We have played 3. Our score at the end of them, Cedar Ridge 39, Canyon 7. We'll take a break. You're listening to Cougar Football on the Cougars Network.
The wait is over. Chip and Joe are back with more Fixer Upper. I love you.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Here we go. You slayed it.
Whoa!
You killed it.
This is amazing.
Yes!
Fixer Upper, Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
Watch HGTV, GVTC, Digital Cable Channel 578. GVTC, just plain smart.
Welcome back to far north Austin, Texas. No easy way to get here from New Braunfels. The easiest way to join us is through the Cougars Network, and we thank you for listening to our live broadcast stream. Our score going into the fourth quarter, Cedar Ridge 39 and Canyon 7.
Well, once again, as we were mentioning, the latest update we have is Hendrickson on top of Smithson Valley, 13-10. That's at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It's Clemens on top of Round Rock, 19-17, with 4:21 left to go in the third quarter.
I like the showcase of Greater San Antonio area versus Austin area teams here to start the 2017 high school football season. On 2nd and 5, the handoff goes to Deuce Vaughn on the right side of the offensive line. Deuce able to get a couple of yards before being met by a handful of Cougars. It's a gain of 3 to set up 2nd down and 2.
James Perez in among the defensive front there for Canyon.
Another player who had to convert from the other side of the football was at tight end last year, was Perez, now playing at the defensive tackle spot. 3rd and 2, handoff goes to Vaughn. Vaughn has some running room up the middle and enough for a first down. Trips forward across the 15, should be marked at the 17, and a Raider first down.
A couple of other scores we can pass along from district. It's San Marcos on top of East Central, 14-0. That's with 2:36 left to go in the third quarter. That is the latest we have. And Steele on top of Madison. Now, the latest we have from them is the beginning of the third quarter, but Steele leads the Madison Mavericks 22-0.
We will see the Madison Mavericks in 2 weeks at Comalander Stadium. On 1st and 10, the handoff goes up the middle. I believe that's Deuce again. Deuce Vaughn. No, that is not. That is R.J. Robinson, 32 instead of 22. Robinson is flung to the ground, and we have an injured player. I believe we have a Raider and a Cougar down back at the 17-yard line. Robinson able to get 5 on that play.
De Leon once again coming over with the stop for the Cougars, and certainly check the injured players. Hope it's just temporary, because, I mean, you don't want to see the season end, and above all, you don't want to see the young men hurt.
Well, and you know, we've watched this game now, Roland. A battle has been in the trenches for sure on both sides of the football. We mentioned offensive lines and being the strength of both of these football programs, and the defensive line not too shabby as well up for the task. So the battle definitely has been in the trenches as the player has gotten up. That is Josh Heiser, the defensive tackle, a 5'9", 215-pound senior. One of the leaders on the statistics coming in from last year, 14 tackles, 4 of them for a loss. We were talking to Coach Muchigimba earlier in the week. He pointed to Josh Heiser as one of the bell cows, if you will, on that defensive line.
Absolutely. Tough young man. We hope to see him back in the game here momentarily.
Back to play, it's 2nd and 5 for Cedar Ridge. 2 receivers here to the near side for Koss. He will hand the ball off. That's Vaughn. And Vaughn, no, it's a fake coming here to the near side. I'm sorry. Ezekiel Koss kept it and came to the near side, and he was met by Zach Fansteel. And Fansteel made him pay. It's going to be a loss of about 7 on a nice defensive effort there from the strong safety.
Absolutely. Good concentration that time by Fansteel, just sticking with the quarterback, had his eyes on him all the way, dropped him for a loss back inside the 15-yard line.
Fansteel at 5'10", 175-pound senior, another statistical leader from a year ago. 25 tackles, one of those for a loss to his credit in 2016. He'll get another tackle for a loss there in the opening game of 2017. Now 2 receivers for Koss. Vaughn to his left. They give the ball to Vaughn, and Vaughn is hit at the line of scrimmage, keeps his feet going. Eric Taylor making initial contact for Canyon. It's going to be a gain of 4, and those were hard 4 yards.
Absolutely. Vance's McKay also came over from his defensive secondary position to put a hit on him. So looks like they're controlling the running game right now. If they can just maintain that.
9:40 left to go in this ball game. Cedar Ridge up 39-7. Now in punt formation is Cash Rugley for Cedar Ridge, and in deep receiving McKay, who's McKay now at the 49 inside Raider territory, not anticipating a good punt from Rugley. Snap back to Rugley, and the play is stopped. It was for those scoring at home, a spinning backspin ball, and that ball is still rolling at the 34. So false start, the indication against Cedar Ridge. And those are one of those shots you're envious of on the golf course. You know, those you stick it on the green and watch that ball come back. You don't like that in the punting game.
No, not punting. No, negative.
So perhaps good field position in the works here for Canyon, as McKay has now gone up to the Raider 40-yard line. Rugley standing inside his 1 with his heels almost on the goal line. Takes the snap. Right foot. This is more line drive approach, end-over-end kick that drives McKay back, lets it bounce inside Cougar territory at the 40. Makes a man miss, coming to the near side with a stiff arm, and is tackled out of bounds, though no flag is there. I think they'll spot him at the 44-yard line on a nice punt there by Rugley. And there's an injured, I believe that's a Raider football player on the sideline, Downey Grimm.
That's right. He just came over and was in all kind of, well, he's limping a little bit as we take a look at him on the near sideline.
Yeah, writhing in pain there. He got attended to and popped right up and is making his way over down to the bench as the trainers are attending to him. So good field position for Canyon despite McKay having to be forced back into Cougar territory. They'll get the ball at the 44 to start this drive.
Well, to just pass this along, a little update from Pflugerville is Hendrickson has increased their lead over Smithson Valley with 10:42 left to go in the fourth quarter. It's 20-10 now. Hawks on top of Coach Muchagamba's former team, the Smithson Valley Rangers.
And some question marks over there for the school up there in the northwest part of Comal County. Who's going to replace Josh Atkins and how well is he going to do? A lot of question marks there for the Rangers, having a tough time just down the highway in Pflugerville. 1st and 10 Cougars. Handoff goes to Seth Haney, and Haney has made some tackles miss on the right side. He's put the football down again into Raider territory across the 40. The ball popped out, but I believe Canyon jumped on it, and they will retain possession. I believe I saw 53 Tyler Shannon there at the end of the play with the football.
Once again, Justin Santillana with a big hit to jar that ball loose.
1st and 10 Canyon, moving right to left. Handoff goes to Worley. Worley dragging defenders with him to the 30-yard line. Owen Worley, 5'10", 170, a junior, has had a pretty good ball game coming in and replacing Seth Haney from time to time.
Yes, he has. Santillana again with the stop for the Raiders. The clock continues to run.
Gain of 6 there for Worley, 2nd and 4. Out of the gun now. Fake to Worley, goes to the far sideline with a pitch and catch, and that is Callan Farr again. Hit at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be no gain, if anything. It might have even been a loss of a yard. But as I mentioned, Callan Farr highlighted in the offensive package to open this game, and we really haven't seen much of him since. 2 receivers here to the near sideline, Isaiah Scott and Farr in the slot. Handoff will go to Worley, trying to break containment on the far sideline, unable to turn the corner. In fact, he's going to lose a yard. Couple of Raiders there on defense stringing out the play, and a late flag comes in as this one was well after the play was over from the back from the back judge, and we'll see what he's going to converse with the referee about. A very late flag. As it stands, it should be 3rd and about 7.
All right, we'll check that penalty marker, and we've also got news from Pflugerville as the Rangers have decided to make a game out of it. 5:24 left to go in the ball game, and Hendrickson on top of the Rangers by a score of 20-17.
Well, you know, that's the thing about Coach Larry Hill, and he must have eyes and ears everywhere in this state of Texas. The moment you even question that there's question marks, they respond.
There you go. He must have heard you, Ben. That's what I think.
Well, allow me to continue to root for our Comal County teams and continue to question Smithson Valley's defense, if I will. Let's see if they come up with a turnover. It is a dead ball foul, unsportsmanlike conduct against Canyon, and a dead ball foul against Cedar Ridge. So these are late penalties that are going to offset.
Yeah.
So it'll keep it at 3rd and about 6.
Moving 3rd down for the Cougars.
It's been testy. Now, look, this is again, we talked about this being a physical game in the trenches, and we've seen a couple of these plays extend even beyond the whistle, and I think the referees are just trying to calm things down. And even if it's offsetting, I think they have to make that call in that situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can get a little fiery down there.
Worley is set to the left of Perez in the shotgun. Two receivers to the left are to the right are stacked, and that's where Perez is looking. Across the middle of the field on a deep slant intended for Farr. That pass is incomplete, broken up by Cedar Ridge.
That time, I believe that was Williams back covering defensively, 43.
Dropping back. Also saw Chase Coots back there also. 4th and 6, and Canyon electing to go for it. 7:21 left to go in this ball game, down 39-7. Why not?
Sure, need points.
Perez looking over to the sideline for a new play. Shouts it out at the offensive line. Back to the shotgun. Slap of the hands with the pump fake to the far sideline. Now lets it go. Trying to look for his receiver. That ball is deflected. Not really an opportunity to make a play on the ball for Jacob Garcia, the sophomore. Is that number 16? I believe it was. And that ball goes incomplete, and for the second time tonight, Canyon has turned the ball over on down.
You know, you can't fault Xavier, though. He's had a couple of real good looks, put the ball in some good places. It may have been just a question of the receiver not looking the ball into their hands, or of course, trying to throw into coverage can always be a difficult thing. But he's had some good looks. He's made some good throws. That's optimistic for later on in the season.
I'll just say that the pump fake really didn't help them in that situation. Did not get the release they were looking for the wide receiver. So that's just good defense and good discipline on Cedar Ridge's part, not allowing the pump fake to get them in trouble.
You cannot take anything away from the defense. They've been focused.
Jalen Brown, number 12, the sophomore quarterback, back in for Cedar Ridge. Moving left to right, ball placed at the 33. On 1st and 10, handoff is to Deuce Vaughn, trying to squirm his way out of a couple of tackles. Does so before being dropped by Vance's McKay. It's a gain of 5 on 1st down.
2nd down for the Raiders.
That's right. Give him a game of 4 that time. It'll be 2nd and 6 for Cedar Ridge. As you were mentioning, the clock continues to run. Now just under 7 minutes left to go in the ball game.
Out of the gun, the handoff is given to Deuce Vaughn as he'll come straight here to the near side of the field, makes a man miss at the 40. Tight rope down the sideline into Cougar territory. Here he goes. Stiff arm inside the 20 and the 5, finally rushed out of bounds by Zach Fansteel. The last line of defense, another late flag comes in inside the 10-yard line. Interesting to see. It looked like a clean play as Fansteel pushed out. If anything, Roland, this might be offensively illegal hands to the face on the face mask.
I'd be very interested to see this call, because you're right. It didn't look like anything on the Cougar side of the football.
Vaughn there did give a nice stiff arm to Fansteel. Was it legal is the question. I couldn't think of anything else there that side judge would have thrown a flag on.
See what the man, they're apparently going to back it up. Personal foul, face mask.
Oh. They'll give the penalty at the end of the run, so Cedar Ridge will walk back, though, still in Cougar territory. Ball resting now at the 27 for Canyon, so instead of having it inside the 10, they are outside the 20. And a good run there by Deuce Vaughn for Cedar Ridge. Again, Jalen Brown, the sophomore quarterback, is in. The handoff will go to Vaughn as he'll try the left side this time. Makes a man miss at the line of scrimmage, and here he goes. Inside the 20, brought down from behind. Making the tackle is 23 Cody Lees, the 5'9", 175-pound junior.
No one is allowed on the field after the game unless you...
Ball's now inside the 20 in the red zone for Cedar Ridge. 6:13 left to go in the ball game. Looking to add to their lead. R.J. Robinson now replaces Deuce Vaughn in the backfield to the right of the quarterback Brown. Handoff will go to Robinson, a big hole up the middle, and R.J. Robinson will trot into the end zone from 19 yards away. Touchdown, Cedar Ridge.
And again, getting it done on the ground. There were 374 yards on the ground. I'm sure they eclipsed the 400-yard mark rushing the football this evening.
No doubt about it. And the 4 touchdowns in this half for Cedar Ridge, all on the ground. Again, Sam Robinson, they didn't want to change any of the philosophies with the change in coaching staff. Continuity was the name of the game. They were run heavy before Sam Robinson. They're run heavy with Sam Robinson, and something tells me they'll be run heavy after Sam Robinson, wherever he decides. But if I was him, I'd stay at Cedar Ridge for as long as I could.
Oh, sure.
A fine football team here. Now there's still confusion on the PAT extra point team. And again, if there is a blemish on this football team, and they are thinking state championship up here in Cedar Ridge, it's going to be tough for them to advance with a kicking game like this.
Well, sure. They'll probably have to address that. They will have to address that at some point in the season.
Berlinga gets his left foot into it, and it is a cannon as he shoots that one through the uprights and good. 5:55 left to go in the ball game. New score, Cedar Ridge 46, Canyon 7. This is a Cougars Network.
If you bank at Frost, we'll help keep your money safe. If you use your Frost debit card, the chip will make it more secure. If there's a suspicious transaction on your card, you'll get an alert. If you do, you can freeze your card with the Frost app. If you lose your phone, Touch ID login will help keep the app secure. Of course, if all you need is help from people who care, we've got that too.
Canyon is preparing for a very tough 27-6A district schedule and going out of district to get some of the cream of the crop here in Austin. And they have found one of the better teams in Austin, the Cedar Ridge Knights. It's a 4-play drive, 67 yards, 1 minute 19 off the clock for Cedar Ridge. A 19-yard touchdown run by R.J. Robinson is the score with the extra point. 5:55 left to go in the ball game. Cedar Ridge on top now, 46-7.
Well, if we can pass along some more scores from around the area, 2:48 left to go in the ball game in Pflugerville as Hendrickson's holding on to a 3-point lead, 20-17 on top of Smithson Valley.
Berlingua will have the ball teed up. The left footer sends this one deep. Vances McKay takes the ball at the 3, coming down to the near side, makes a man miss at the 20 and another one at the 21, and takes a hard shoulder, just drilled down at the 24, 23-yard line, and another late flag.
There's a penalty marker.
Some talking going on, some yapping for sure after that special teams play.
I want to say that was number 17 over here. That was Victor Regal who put that hit on the return man.
Senior linebacker Regal with the vicious shoulder into Vances McKay. So Canyon, you want to take this film, this experience, do what you can to learn from it and move forward. The Canyon Cougars will be back home for their home opener next week versus San Marcos. One of the players, you look district realignment as Cedar Ridge is taking a timeout here. And Roland, you mentioned the score of East Central earlier in our broadcast. East Central playing San Marcos. So one team that I know for sure that's looking forward to realignment is East Central to get out of this brutal district.
I would say they've had their trouble in this district. It's been a little bit rough, but yeah, you were talking about that ball game. San Marcos leads the East Central Hornets 28-0. Steele, with 7 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, leads the Madison Mavericks 29-0. And trying to check some other scores, as was mentioned. Now we've got a score of Lake Travis leading Judson 25-21.
Wow.
I'll have to double check on that one. That's the
last
latest
that we got here at the stadium was Judson on top 21-17. So that game having gone back and forth.
Right, that game is showing 10:29 left to go in the second quarter now.
You got a late start.
They did get a late start.
Again, it's 46-7 here at Kelly Reeves in Austin. As Perez is back in the ball game leading the Cougars. Handoff will go to, I believe that's Seth Haney. Back to the line of scrimmage. No, that's not. That is 2 for Canyon in Oscar Dean getting the handoff there.
Oscar Dean checking into the backfield. First time we've seen him this evening.
Also in for Canyon is Devion Black. Handoff will fake to Dean, and Perez will take it to the right side. Has some running room into Raider territory. At the 45, that's a big gain for Xavier on the zone read keeper. It's a Cougar first down now into Raider territory.
That's right. I think, I'm not sure if that was Taj Williams 42 or 43 or 42. I think it might have been 42 coming over to make the stop that time.
Canyon desperately trying to get into a rhythm offensively. Now at the Raider 44. Handoff is given to Dean with the fake throw from Perez. Not fooling too many people as Dean trying to turn the corner and
more penalty
doesn't.
markers.
This is another flag late. 47, Dylan McDaniel, the junior defensive end, makes the tackle on Oscar Dean. There might be a face mask involved as you kind of saw Dean whip back. We'll see.
52, that was Chase Coots as he was running. He made the stop and started running back towards us, toward our booth on the sideline, looking up like, no, they didn't get me for anything.
We'll see what the referees have here. On the other side of the football for Canyon, they've had a relatively penalty-free ball game. You did have a hold here and there early in the ball game. That's been just about it.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness.
15 yards from the end of the run will give Canyon a first down, and the ball will be marked inside the 30, placed at the 29-yard line for Canyon. Now under 5 minutes to go in this ball game. Two receivers to the near sideline for Perez. Perez in his 2017 debut as quarterback in a new look offense. Dean takes the handoff from Perez. Right side of the line of scrimmage has a little bit of room, wiggles forward to the 26 on a gain of 3.
And, you were mentioning taking a look at the game films and learning from what this experience has brought. You've got to take a lot of positives out of what we've seen on the offensive side of the football for Canyon this evening. They've done a lot of things right, and just not put a lot of points on the board.
2nd and 6 for Perez. Little crow route to the far sideline. Pass is delivered and caught. At the stick should be enough for a first down. The receiver there, I believe, is 24, Isaiah Scott. Or, excuse me, 84, Isaiah Rivera. Enough for a Cougar first down inside the 20. I think they'll spot it at the 18.
Justin Racine with the stop from his defensive back position for Cedar Ridge that time. He's trying to get his number.
Colton Pfeffer is the receiver here on the near sideline, the lone receiver. You got two to the far side. Handoff goes up the middle. I believe that's 26, Nathan Colbreth, the running back, 5'8", 150-pound junior. Again, the question coming into this ball game for Coach Muchagimba, who's going to step up as playmakers? And we're starting to see the depth showing here for Canyon, getting players in and out. Back to pass is Perez. It's a deep slant on the far side of the field off the chest plate of the intended receiver, Connor Holt, 5'11", 150-pound junior. Holt unable to reel it in. An incomplete pass brings up 3rd and 10.
I've been Devin Dillard Williams there back defensively for the Raiders that time.
In the slot on the far sideline is Devian Black, along with Isaiah Rivera and Connor Holt. 3 receivers to the far sideline. 88, Colton Pfeffer, the nearest side receiver. Bat to pass is Perez. Looking across the middle on a deep slant. That ball is caught and upended. Way to hang on to the football there is Isaiah Rivera. Should be enough for a first down, maybe. Depends on the spot. They're going to give him to the 9. Needed to get to the 8. It'll be 4th and 1. Upended as he caught the football. Impresses me that Rivera is able to hold on to that. 4th and 1 for Canyon. They'll give the ball to Oscar D. No, it's faked by Perez. He'll try the left side. Should have enough for a first down there, just shy of the 5 as he takes a vicious hit. From that Cedar Ridge defender is 16, Justin Racine, laying the wood down on a Perez, but enough for a Cougar first down. Now 1st and goal at the 6.
Racine's had a couple of big pops this drive defensively for the Raiders.
3 receivers to the far sideline. Oscar Dean, the running back in the backfield, to the right of Perez. Perez, zone read keeper to the right side. Perez into the end zone, touchdown Canyon. Xavier Perez on the zone read keeper, fakes it to Dean, takes it to the right side, and dives in to the end zone as Canyon gets on the scoreboard.
Well, 2:40 left to go in the ball game, making the score a little bit more respectable and certainly giving you a little something to take into next week's contest with San Marcos.
Jacob Martinez on to attempt the extra point. Snap down, kick up, and it is good. Roland, as you mentioned, 2:40 left to go in this ball game. Our new score, Cedar Ridge of 46, Canyon 14. You're listening to Cougar Football on the Cougars Network. Welcome back to our state capital of Austin. Canyon has gotten back on the board. 46-14, the Cougars now trail Cedar Ridge. It was a 10-play, 76-yard drive. Took 3:07 off the clock. A 6-yard touchdown run by Xavier Perez is your touchdown score. 2:40 left to go in this ball game. Jacob Martinez has the ball teed up for Canyon. 3 return men back deep for Cedar Ridge. It's going to be a little pooch kick to the far sideline, and an up man's going to have to take it at the 30 with a full head of speed, and he almost breaks that one for a touchdown, but he's tripped up. That's Chris Laws out there on the return team with the pooch kick. Decent field position for Cedar Ridge at the 39.
And Ben, if you can believe it, 8 seconds left to go in the ball game. Smithson Valley is taking the lead over Pflugerville-Hendrickson, 24-20.
Good ball game, it sounds like, there between Smithson Valley and Hendrickson. Of course, you could catch that on the Rangers Network. The replay will be uploaded to YouTube. It's all part of Comal ISD's coverage of their high school football teams. Of course, you could come back to Cougars Network on YouTube and catch the replay of this game, as we will sync up the audio and the visual together to give you a good look at this football game visually. We'll do the same for the Rangers Network as well. 1st and 10 for Cedar Ridge. Back to pass is Brown, and Brown is gobbled up and thrown back. Excellent play. James Perez, the defensive tackle, number 27, I believe, making first contact there for Canyon.
He's doing a fine job on the defensive side of the football. What do you say?
Kind of the Blue Moose up front there for Canyon as well. On the defensive line front, again, highlighting that the defensive line was going to be one of the strong points for Canyon. Josh Heiser has played a good football game, as well as James Perez. The loss sends Cedar Ridge back 9 yards. Should be 2nd down and 19. Ball resting at the 30. Near side receiver is Colby Schoenrock for Cedar Ridge. He's laid it out. The ball will go to Deuce Vaughn, and Vaughn makes a man miss at the 39 into Cougar territory across midfield, just shy of the 40 before being brought down. A nice hard run by Deuce Vaughn to the 42.
Way to bring him down, Fabian Facundo, who made the kind of a touchdown-saving tackle that time.
Well, Simi Bakari gets all the recognition pregame, and rightly so, but Deuce Vaughn, only a sophomore, so he will continue this running back tradition over here at Cedar Ridge for another couple of years as he gets this handoff on 1st down. Bottled up defensively for Canyon. That is James Perez again. Deuce Vaughn lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
Absolutely. Hunter Mason also over to help with the stop for the Cougars.
For Cedar Ridge, their next opponent is Midway, followed by a trip up to, back here by Colleen Shoemaker and Temple before getting into their district play. Their district consists of Pflugerville-Hendrickson, who Smithson Valley plays, Round Rock McNeil, Stony Point, Round Rock High School, Pflugerville, and then rounding out their season with Round Rock Westwood. Handoff goes to R.J. Robinson, and Robinson is wrestled to the ground along the line of scrimmage. 56, Aaron Rodriguez making contact for Canyon. It's going to be a no gain on that play, 3rd and 10.
And the clock continues to wind down, now near 20 seconds left to go in this football game. Cougars will fall to 0-1 on the 2017 season. Of course, have to look for a way to regroup next week against the San Marcos Rattlers.
0-1 on the year, now 1-3 officially to Cedar Ridge on the past 4 seasons that they have met. The one win coming 4 years ago in Coach Muchagimba's debut as head coach for Canyon. They actually lost that game 34-0 by way of scoreboard, but Cedar Ridge, playing with an illegal player, an ineligible player, gave Canyon the win in that one officially. Final here at Kelly Reeves Stadium. Cedar Ridge 46, Canyon 14. Stick around, we'll have post-game coverage here on the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from, everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And now you'll like it even more because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
What is the fastest land animal in the
It's a cougar. It's a cougar. It's a cougar.
Get to know our Cougars in a whole new way as they take the Cougar Challenge. Who do you think actually gave the Canyon Cougars their mascot? Fun questions will bring out the real competitors in this group. So what's the math on that? Puma, mountain lion, panther, catamount, deer lion, they go on and on. How do you spell Coach Muchagimba?
Triceratops.
I bet Coach Mooch would appreciate that, huh? And then
Burns, the ring of fire. The ring of fire.
Cougars Network brings you Cougar Challenge every week, only on Cougars Football with Joe Muchagimba.
Please don't hate me if I get it wrong, Coach.
We look forward to next week, the Canyon Cougars here on the Cougar Network. As we mentioned, the Canyon Cougars will be back home to face the San Marcos Rattlers, a very tough team who knows this, again, realignment is going to change next year. This might be a team potentially that will be in the Cougars district going forward. You can never guess with realignment. Those things are always tricky.
Right.
But we will have that game kick off at 7:30, and a pregame coverage will begin here on Cougars Network at 7:15. Once again, your final score, Cedar Ridge 46, Canyon 14. With the loss, Canyon starts 2017 0-1, and Cedar Ridge starts 1-0. We'll see you next week here on the Cougars Network for Cougars versus Rattlers. Again, our final score, Cedar Ridge 46, Canyon 14. Now from our broadcast partner this evening, Roland Ruiz, for the Governor, Austin Milam, our spotter statistician, and for our executive producer, Bo Wick, I am Ben Campos, wishing you a good night and a safe drive home from Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex in Austin, Texas.